on this Thursday. I had to remember what day it was for a second. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin, and the one and only Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. What's up, JoJo? How are you?
Well, I'm a little bit disheveled right now, and I've always remembered that when I worked in TV, and if you miss a story, like if your story's supposed to air at 5 o'clock and you miss your slot, and the thing was, hey, remember, 5 o'clock comes around at the same time every day. So 9 o'clock rolls around, and I should be more prepared than I'm not. I got books, I got cables, I got pens, I can't find my glasses. Hot mess, but it's okay, I'm here.
Okay, well, we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. I was just saying before we went on the air that I thought it was appropriate that, we have music playing in the hallway from our other stations because whenever I put the game on, somebody else goes and changes it to music. That's fine, whatever. We'll stop that
right
here soon. But
Good,
you walked in. As soon as you walked in the door, "Here Comes the Sun" by the Beatles started playing. I instantly felt better.
What more do you think? I expect and think about life than, when I enter the building. And then, when I leave, Dr. Crane's like, Elvis has left the building. And we laugh. And then I sit in my car and cry for about 10 minutes. Because,
well, please don't cry.
No, it's an emotional thing. And I feel better once we're done. So we're good to go.
Yeah. That is I don't know if it's my favorite Beatles song, but it's up there. I love that song. That's a good one.
Nice.
George Harrison. Okay, so I want to get to we got a lot to get to today. I mean, this is going to be a packed show. Very excited about this show. So John McClain usually joins us on Wednesdays. He's going to join today. But before that, we have Greg Wyshynski at 9:30. We'll talk hockey and Predators with him. And then John McClain will go 10 to 10:30. And then how about this? Comedian Patton Oswalt is going to join us at 10:30. He's going to be in town. He's going to tell us more about that, but I love him. Funny guy. Really going to be cool to have him on.
He is a very funny guy, and so he'll be at City Winery, right? When's Saturday, Friday? One of those days.
Yep, you asked me before I get my notes.
He'll be at City Winery, so look forward to talking to him. Tomorrow we got another comedian on the show, right?
I think so.
I think so, yeah. But who is
That's
it?
Tomorrow.
We'll let you know. Yeah, let's worry about today now. Oh, Wyshynski.
Yeah.
Do we need does he have a nickname too?
Wish.
Oh, no, that's too simple.
I mean, that's what.
How about
Shaw?
Shanky?
I don't know about that.
How about I do know about that? And how about I'll tell him that when he comes on at 9:30?
I bet you won't.
All these hockey people have to have nicknames.
We'll ask him about the nicknames for sure. But I heard this conversation. Charles Robinson, Yahoo Sports, was on with Robbie and Rexroad about an hour ago. And I immediately, when I heard this, I'm like, okay, well, we're going to talk about this, and probably every other show will too. But
all right, I didn't hear it, so let me know.
So this was the question. Basically, the question was, with Caleb Williams, could he go to Chicago? These teams that have quarterbacks. Well, Charles turned it back around on Robbie and Rexroad and asked this:
You get a bunch of picks, you got no picks,
right? I'll ask you guys. Okay, the Titans are 2-4, right? Let's just say total worst case scenario unfolds, right? The rest of the season, and they somehow end up with the first pick in the draft. Is it even a question? It's not even a question, right? In the bit, with all due respect to Will Levis,
I mean, it would be astounding to me that you just moved up to pick your franchise quarterback.
I think you'd have to consider it, though.
You have to consider it, but I mean, you're just raising your hand and saying, "Yeah, we're dumb. Sorry."
I mean, okay.
And we thought we were going to be good this year. We were terrible, and we're dumb, and we're going to take a quarterback in the top 3 rounds for 3 straight years.
But Joe, here's a question that happens at the ownership level when it comes to decisions like this. Often you will have an owner, especially in this era, who will ask, is this quarterback that we could potentially draft better than the quarterback we have right now? And is it markedly better? I mean, are we talking about a pretty significant difference in terms of what the personnel evaluation was between quarterback A and B? And if it is significant, what are we even talking about here? That's a real question that happens in buildings.
Sure.
Now, if you're the Titans, you could sit there, Joe. I would say if you have the first pick and you're inclined to stick with whatever quarterback you have or that plan, it's going to be a great asset to trade out of.
Right.
I mean,
you get a bunch of picks, you got no picks.
Right.
Okay, so then they continue the conversation after this, and I get it. I mean, if this guy truly is a game-changing franchise guy, then you absolutely have to consider it. But let me and this is where I think Rexroad was coming from and why I kind of agree with him. This team has so many holes. They need offensive linemen, and they need like a stud tackle. They need a shutdown corner. They need another star wide receiver. I mean, they have so many things that they need.
It's like you're going to Costco.
Basically, I mean, that's
Lord.
what they need. So while, yes, you could get that guy and, yes, you could probably trade Levis and get something, but you're not going to get what you would get for the number 1 overall pick knowing that they would take Caleb Williams.
Well, what does Mike Vrabel want? That's your bottom. I mean, that's it. What does Mike Vrabel want? What does Mike Vrabel think's best for that football team? And if you
Mike Vrabel wants to win right now with the ragtag group that he has, and it's not going to happen.
Well, he should. Every head coach should want to win right now with the. I mean, it's what he's got. The players he's got right now to get out there on the field and try to win the game. But what does Vrabel want? Does Vrabel think that Caleb Williams is ready to start again? Vrabel's level for quarterback is on another level compared to most anybody else because of who he played with for 8 years in New England. With Tom Brady, he saw Brady from the beginning and saw Brady win 3 Super Bowls and lose another Super Bowl, all that stuff. So I don't think now you start over again with Caleb Williams and you're back, there's still, like you said, there's no tackle, there's no receiver, there's no a lot of things you get to plug and play, and it's not there. But again, that is an extreme hypothetical because I don't think the Titans are the worst team in the league.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, that's why we're, and
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because it is a hypothetical. I mean, they're probably not going to get the first overall pick. They're probably not going to pick top 5 because maybe. I don't think they're going to stick at 2 wins. I mean, look, I think that even with – I mean, maybe this is a bigger if, but with Tannehill hurt, they could beat Atlanta. I don't think Atlanta's very good because Atlanta doesn't have a quarterback right now either.
They got John Ritter. So
R.I.P.
yeah, right. I don't know, but it's a long. But I'm shocked that the Titans haven't done anything this week. I haven't, maybe traded one guy or not even to talk about. I mean, there's a few rumors.
Why are you
and
shocked?
rumblings.
Like, why does that shock you?
I don't know, because I think we see it from a different perspective than they do, and
Of course we do.
we want now. I'm sure they want now too as well, but I just think you've had a couple of times. Don't tell me that this week Rand Carthon gets a email from Vrabel like, hey, let's try to see what we can get for guys. They've had this for 2 or 3 weeks.
I really hope that that's how they talk. He just emails him.
You know he does.
Like, doesn't call him, doesn't
No.
walk into his office, just sends an email.
But by the way, if Rand Carthon's ringtone is not "Flock of Seagulls," I ran so far away, or you walk into his office, then he's really missing an opportunity here.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be funny.
It would be funny.
That would be funny. But look, I'm not shocked because they're stubborn. They're stubborn. They are going to see this through to the very, very end. I will be shocked. Where the shock will come is if there's an announcement of, oh, they've traded X player. If they actually make trades before the deadline. I think they're stubborn. I think they're going to see this through.
What if they do a complete fire sale, man? It's everybody.
If they do a complete
Fired,
fire sale,
tart.
I will have the same reaction I did when the Predators did it last spring. And that is, you know what? I didn't think they'd do it, but good for them. It's the
Gone.
right move. It's the right move. It's what they should do. But I don't think they're going to do it.
No, they're not going to do it. It's just
They're
if they
too
do,
stubborn.
they might trade one person for a 5th-round pick from some other team somewhere, and
Yeah,
that's
trades
it,
are
and go
coming in
forward.
college football. Just wait
Yeah,
for that.
they should. Yeah, they probably will.
Just wait for that.
So I don't know. It's just the Caleb Williams thing. That's just it's fun to talk about it, but it ain't gonna happen.
Can I? And I know I'm in the minority with what I'm going to say. Like, I think he's really, really good, but I don't know if I'm ready to go. He's Mahomes.
What round was Brock Purdy drafted in?
He was the 7th round, the last pick in the draft.
Yeah, where was
Mr.
Tom
Irrelevant.
Brady picked in?
6th round, 199.
Yeah, so we can go through the draft history of forever and see guys picked late who were great, see guys picked early who were awful, then see guys who were picked early who were great. I mean, it's the system you put them in.
Yeah, 100%. And look, I remember sitting at I can't remember the name of the place, but we did the draft show, and it was Jared, Floyd,
Waffle
Derek.
House?
It might have been. It was Huddle House. But we were sitting there on the night of the draft, and that was when the Titans had taken Corey Davis 5th overall, and everybody was like, "What are we doing?"
2017.
Yep. And then when Kansas City took Mahomes, we happened to be in break, and Floyd goes, Andy just got a Super Bowl.
No.
Mm-hmm. He liked him. He liked him a lot.
Mahomes was amazing at Texas Tech.
He was, but did you think he'd become what he has become in the NFL?
In the right system. I thought in the right system you flourish. I mean, Trubisky was a good quarterback, not a great quarterback. What if Trubisky's in that system?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what if the Titans had taken him 5th overall?
They wouldn't have because they had the awful Marcus Mariota.
I know, but
who people still defend to this day, which
trust me, I'm aware.
Which just baffles me to know. Nice guy, great, but not a good quarterback.
He's a super nice guy. He was not your franchise quarterback.
When they drafted him in 2015, and I was at the draft party, and Kendall Wright and Justin Hunter threw a fit that they drafted Mariota. Then they denied it, and I told Kendall Wright, I said, I got you on video. And he was like, no, you don't. And he walked off. I was like, I got you on video for you. And I wasn't going to show it on TV, but your disdain for them drafting Marcus Mariota was something else. So I don't know. That's a good question because he would have come in if you take him there. You already had Mariota. Yeah, I mean, there was no plans to take Patrick Mahomes in 2017.
No, I know. They were going to always do probably what they did.
Well, they already had Mariota. I mean, so
yeah.
But
they were trying to build around Mariota.
They take back-to-back quarterbacks in 22 and 23. So who knows, man?
Could you imagine though if we get to June or mid-May after the draft and the last 3 years in the first 3 rounds they've taken a quarterback? Which I mean, there's some GMs that would tell you. Maybe not in those rounds. Like, I'd take a quarterback every year if I could.
Well, the Redskins took RG3 and Kirk Cousins in the same. I think Kirk Cousins went 4th round. Yeah. RG3 was a top pick, and then Kirk Cousins. It happens. You take guys that 7th round to throw away, and I guarantee you, the Brock Purdy, like, what do you want to do? He's like, I don't know. Then they're probably laughing like that. Brock Purdy's could be pretty good, and they're laughing, and then they take him. I mean, the 7th round is just a crapshoot.
Sure, but wouldn't you like if you had 10 draft picks every year, wouldn't you take a quarterback every
Absolutely,
year?
I would.
I mean, you never know.
Yep.
You could get a solid backup for a few years, or you could find a diamond in the rough.
That's why Robinson was hoping, like with the Dylan Radins pick coming out, from the small school, the FCS, that maybe he could hit on something like that and be, you got that guy over there, and then of course Radins was not that good. Plus, he set out 20 the COVID year, which was I get it, but he still was able to prove nothing to your football team. And I don't know. I think a lot of GMs try to be cute with everything that goes on.
615-737-1025. You can weigh in on this. If the Titan, would you take Caleb Williams or would you get draft capital? 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We have a lot of stuff to give away today.
Okay.
We're going to give away KISS tickets. We're going to give away Preds tickets. We're going to give away Patton Oswalt tickets. I mean, we got a lot of stuff. So be listening for your chance to win all of those things. This is the Chase and Big Joe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
He knows Nashville sports.
And you've got Mike Vrabel in what feels like sort of a back against the wall game. They're at their best.
And he's not scared to tell it like it is.
They need to go on the road and win a game.
He is Outkick's Chad Withrow.
16 5-star players and 52 4-star players.
Withrow joins Stillman and Company every Friday at 5. Brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
They still have all of the talent.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get wings the way you want them. Try Twin Peaks wings bone-in breaded, naked, smoked and grilled, or boneless in your favorite sauce or rub.
Willie Donick here for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. The official brand perception report for doors and windows is in. Pella Windows and Doors are the leading brand among all others. A few reasons why. Pella is regarded as the highest quality, the most innovative, and the installers with Pella of Nashville lead the way for attention to detail. That's why Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville is one of Pella's top locations in the country. For new doors or windows, I suggest you choose the experts at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Go to PellaNashville.com.
Rock from the darker side. Disturbed. Back Your Life Tour. Saturday, February 17th. Bridgestone Arena. New album, Divisive. Available now. With special guest, Falling in Reverse. And Plush. Tickets on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at LiveNation.com. Don't miss Disturbed. Buy tickets at LiveNation.com.
For over a decade, SimpliSafe has revolutionized home security, and our latest advancement is here, 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
All the big plays.
And we are done. Vandy 24-21.
All the big stories.
I'm sure Vandy will be a much better team if Clark Lee is the coach.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
What a stop by UC Sarah.
Then he wouldn't end up on my team.
Driving his way to victory lane.
I think that's the right strategy.
The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to the Chase and Big Joe Show, brought to you by Regal Realty Group.
We are spying on you pretty much around the clock.
But why, Mr. McGuire?
Do you want to know the terrifying truth? Or do you want to see me suck a few dingers?
Dingers! On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Is this Bonanza? No, this isn't Bonanza.
Little House on the Prairie,
Little House, yeah.
which is by the most depressing television show of all time. So during COVID, which I'm an idiot, I binge watch Little House on the Prairie, right? And it is simply the most depressing TV show of all time. Why people embrace that show?
Yeah, that's not one to binge watch.
And embrace the books. And so I tweeted it out like, hey, why do people watch this? And I got so much 50-50 of like, it's a great show. And people are like, I agree with you. What's going on? There's an episode where they have no money and the wife goes to town to get a part-time job. And the guy that owns a pharmacy, his wife makes fun of her because her clothes are bad. And then she goes home and tells her husband, Michael Landon, and he's upset. So instead of going down there, and kicking the pharmacist's ass, he just kind of starts crying too. I'm like, why am I watching the show? What am I doing here? So when I hear that theme, it's almost
did you eat your bonbons?
No, I just went outside and cried as well. I'm like, what am I doing here? It's terrible.
Well, there's a lot of
so
that.
Thanks for that moment of putting me back in a trance from 3 years ago.
We got to get some Three's Company today. I mean, got to have that on a TV theme Thursday.
You let Dr. Crane run this. He's the Captain Steubing of this ship. And as I say that, Love Boat
I'm
theme.
the director of operations.
Love
if I
Boat
want
theme.
Three's Company, then I'm going to say play Three's Company, and he's going to do it.
Dr. Crane. You got to do what you're told, man.
Just maybe.
So you got 2, Love Boat and Three's Company, by the way. By the way, Love Boat would make it today with all the
I don't
sexual innuendos.
I never liked Love Boat.
What?
No.
How dare you?
Never liked Love Boat.
Why? Do you just not like cruises?
I've never been on a cruise.
Do you not
so
like just amazing hookups on cruise ship that you never would imagine in your life?
Well, I've never been on a cruise ship, so I don't know.
Buddy Hackett and Carol Burnett hooking up. I mean, come on, man. I mean, the possibilities were endless on that show.
maybe they reboot it, and that's where Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, maybe they met on a Love Boat.
We got to do that question soon. Not this week, but maybe next week.
What
if they do get married, what's the prenup, and what's one thing she can't have, and what's one thing he can't have in the prenup?
A lot of people have weighed in on the Caleb Williams thing. Dylan says if we start Malik Willis for the rest of the season, we might be the worst team in the league. Yeah, there's some truth to that. Tim says trade away all tradable assets now, make a push to be the top pick, keep Levis, and build a team around him with all of the picks. Look, it'd be a tough decision. If they landed the number 1 overall pick, it'd be a really tough decision. But I do lean with all the holes that they have. You get as many draft picks as possible, and then you build that way.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it before, but now in the age of win, now. I mean, the free agency's become so vital and so important because it's like the portal in college. I mean, you could rebuild your football team in one season, where before it would take 3 to 4 years. I mean, the Cowboys, when Jimmy Johnson took over, were awful, okay? And I think what he did there when he traded Herschel Walker for 78 players with 9 different teams all involved, it really got things going because then you got 89, the Cowboys were still bad. 90, they were like, okay, a little better. They got Emmitt Smith. Then 91, they took off. And, of course, they won the Super Bowls in 92, 93, and 95. But you were able to do that. Now, just the free agency, and did you see, like, guys are disgruntled? What's the Devontae Adams? You see his quote?
Oh, yeah.
What an idiot. What an absolute idiot. He said, it's not about winning or losing. It's about my legacy. I don't want you on my team.
Yeah,
I don't care how damn good you are. Yeah, it's awful. So I read that quote today that I think Schefter put it out or one of the Rappaport or whatever. He's like, I've only got 2 catches. We're winning, but where am I? And talks about my legacy is important.
Yeah, I don't want that guy in my locker room.
Yeah, so I'd trade him. But you're gone. Get out of here. I'm not going to let you be the cancer in the locker room. That's what he is.
They'll trade him. Well, watch. He'll end up with the Jets next year and be back with Rodgers.
Fine. He can take his legacy, which isn't that great. Has he won a Super Bowl? Is he no. Isn't the goal to win the Super Bowl?
Yep.
That's the bottom line, right?
And you know what you need to do that? A team.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
You need to play as a team.
Yeah. Well, when Chris Sanders comes on, has talked about when he played, he said, a lot of the problems with the team were with us, with me, because I was a me kind of guy. Again, you find guys who hate losing more than winning, and you'll find a winning football team.
Yep. Yeah.
Or whatever team. Kirk Gibson, 1988. Spring training. I know Rex Rhodes is a big Kirk Gibson fan, so am I. Gets traded from the Tigers to the Dodgers. He's going to do the final interview at spring training, and the players on his hat put some kind of jock itch cream on the inside of his hat.
Yeah.
And he puts it on, and they're all laughing. He takes the hat off, and he sees all that, the cream and all that other stuff there, and he just snaps. He, chases. He's going to fight everybody. That set the tone for the Dodgers team in 1988. Then he comes out, hits the home run, and wins. Oral Hershiser talks about how he said it was like loosey-goosey kind of atmosphere, and then Kirk Gibson shows up and is like, we are a team, we want to win, and that's what should be the only objective of everybody, and they win the World Series. Now, it doesn't happen every time, but there's far more instances where things like that happen that propel a team to a championship than not.
Wes in Clarksville, even if we do have a fire sale and get a bunch of draft picks, can we trust them to pick some players that will help the team? It's a fair question, Wes.
Oh, man.
It's a very fair question. David in Arkansas, it's clear if you build around Tannehill, soon to be Levis, they'll be great. Levis had no line at UK the final year. See how that went? But look, we need draft capital more than anything. Having a quarterback without having picks to build a line and get weapons is no good. Take this year, for example. Yeah, David, you're right. You got to, and that's why I'm more inclined to go get draft picks. And I'm not an expert by any means. I'm not completely 100% sold on Caleb Williams yet anyway.
Well, that thing that came out, but he wants partial ownership of the team.
Well,
that has not been denied.
No, he can't have that, though.
Partial ownership. You haven't played a down in the NFL, and you're really putting up stats, as somebody said, against L.A. community colleges, and let's see how you do in a big-time environment. And so I just think that just really – whoever's behind the scenes letting him say that or get that out there, that's not good at all.
Jeff in Hendersonville says, not a Caleb Williams fan, but if Drake May is there, I say draft him. Will Levis is cringe and hard to root for. I don't know why.
Because he.
Are you a Vols
Do you
fan?
not want to? Do you not want to? Do you
I
not
mean,
wanna,
that's a lot of the Levis hate is coming from Vols fans.
Yeah. Do you not want a cocky quarterback? I mean, who's confident and goes out there and I'm going to win the games for you and I love my team?
You know what? You're right. You said Little House on the Prairie. That was the Waltons.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Still.
Thank you.
I'm still.
Chris
I've
is giving you a hard time.
I've got some kind of stress order over the Little House start. Sorry about that. It all sounds the same. Hell, that show's depressing too. That show, and I met Richard Thomas a few years ago. He came to town and he did To Kill a Mockingbird. And the whole time I'm thinking, God, what a terrible John Boy, right? And so it was still depressing.
Every time I see the Waltons now, I think of the Family Guy. They do a Family Guy spoof where they have the Waltons and like, good night, John Boy, and he doesn't say anything because he's doing something. It makes me laugh every time.
Oh, so Dr. Crane, you got to find later on the Little House on the Prairie theme, if you don't mind, just so I can get even more depressed today on this wonderful day.
I will add it to the batting lineup.
And my birthday's in 6 days, and I need.
What are you gonna do for your birthday? We're gonna do something.
Get this out. You still owe me 2 lunches.
Yeah, I do, don't I?
Yeah,
Well,
you're still at
we'll
2
do
lunches. Yeah, I don't know if I like doing shows when I'm. I don't know. I'm not upset. It's just. It's getting cold. I like when it's 1,000 degrees, and I just know that it's getting colder, and the time change is going to be getting dark at 2 p.m., and I'm just not a fan of all that.
Birthday cake kind of guy?
We'll go to lunch.
What's that?
You a birthday cake kind of guy?
I am not.
Really?
What do you think? Of course I am.
I'm just. Some people don't like birthday cake.
No, I used to go years ago when I was in college. I'd go to the store, and don't hate me, I like icing so much that I would stand in there and I would scoop out the icing and eat the icing in the aisle, and I would throw it away and I'd leave.
Yeah, don't.
There were no cameras
always
back then.
assume big guys like us like cake.
Hey,
Nick,
I know some big guys that don't like cakes. That's why I was curious.
Best advice I got in my life, Nick: never trust a skinny cook.
That is very
that's
true.
Actually a good point.
Yep.
I grew up with a lot of big cooks in my family.
Good.
Coming up next, I don't know if he's a cook or not.
Shawshinky.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna like that.
That's not up to him to determine whether he likes it or not.
All right, Greg Wyshynski from ESPN going to join us. All right, quite frankly, yeah, Greg Wyshynski, ESPN will join us next. Chasing Big Joe 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
One is a legendary NFL wide receiver.
I gotta be prepared. I have to be ready.
One is a legendary Nashville voice.
You don't have to rely on carrying the ball 250 to 300 times.
And the other has been a legendary trash talker on the playground since the 4th grade.
Nobody is a Pro Bowler on day 1 of rookie minicamp.
They are Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays at 11 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Attention all fire protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC experts. Jarrett Companies are looking for experienced field technicians like you. Tired of working for your large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett's Fire Protection, commercial plumbing, and HVAC divisions are owned and operated by Nashville natives who want you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we'll also provide you with top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and our business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to JarrettCompaniesinc.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT CompaniesInc.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
You know that feeling you get when your team goes big? You can get that same feeling on Zen Sports, where you score with cash rewards every bet you make. Earn cash rewards on your betting volume each month, and even more cash during your 15-day welcome bonus period. So say goodbye to deposit bonuses that turn into deposit nightmares, and say hello to a better sportsbook experience and real cashback rewards. Zen Sports. Betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and up and in Tennessee to bet.
Get ready to dig into the future of construction. Look no further than Parman Tractor and Equipment. They've got the power and precision you need with Link Belt excavators, where red means go. Whether you're looking to rent or buy, Link Belt excavators are known for reliability and performance. When you see that red and gray machine on the job site, you know it's time to get things done. Parman Tractor's team offers unparalleled service. Visit ParmanTractor.com and get in the dirt with employee owners of Parman, where red means go. Don't miss out on totally outrageous customer service.
Do reward. Just desserts. Special day. Payoff. Just because. Whatever your reasons, it's time to visit the spa.
Mocara Spa at the Omni Nashville Hotel, now offering outdoor yoga 9 a.m. every Saturday through September 2nd on the Spa Terrace. Book any treatment and get complimentary valet parking and access to the rooftop pool with incredible views of the Music City skyline. Mocara Spa at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Inner Zen, outer beauty.
Hey home buyers, TJ Anderson here. Are you looking for a luxury home on over an acre, 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, and close to 7,000 square feet? 6551 Brownlee Drive in Nashville's Westmead neighborhood offers that and a 4th car garage, all by an award-winning builder. Text the number 1 to 615-420-2377 for pricing and info. Want your home listing to be seen and heard by home buyers? Google TJ Anderson Homes and see why we are referred by clients so often. TJ Anderson Homes at Benchmark Realty, office number 615-432-2919.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Give us a call on the phone line, sponsored by Wilson County Hyundai.
Yes, I'm looking for a friend of mine. Last name Jazz, first name Hugh.
615-737-1025.
Hugh Jazz. Chase and Big Joe are on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
TV Theme Thursday, a little Three's Company for you. Late, great Suzanne Summers passing away.
Oh, that's right. Forgot about that.
That's why we had to do that, for sure.
Yep. Oh, man. What a great show.
It's a funny one.
Mr. Farley or the Ropers? It's tough. It's okay if you choose both.
Yeah, probably both.
Okay.
I mean, look, they're both really good. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Let's bring in Greg Wyshynski from ESPN, who joins us every Thursday at 9:30 to talk Preds and NHL. Greg, what's up?
I'm good, man. I think we just got a glimpse at what sports talk radio was in the early 1980s with the Furleys or Mr. Roper, or the Ropers versus Mr. Furley. Good debate, but yeah, it's been interesting. Like, that show was so ubiquitous for a certain generation because of reruns, right? Like, I certainly wasn't around for the first run of it, but it was always on, like, you know, your local Fox affiliate or TBS for a while, and just became kind of a thing.
Yeah, if you were a kid of the 80s, Greg, you know, you got HBO and you'd watch like Red Dawn. I don't remember seeing Red Dawn in the theater, but I watched it a billion times on HBO, and those shows all become so beloved, so you're exactly right.
Yeah, and the problem is that then you start, you know, you still make references to them in 2023, knowing that literally no one is going to understand when you say, Patrick Swayze taught me you have to drink the deer's blood after you kill it in order to ingest its spirit, which is one of the great lessons that Red Dawn gave us. But
Yes.
again, in 2023, how many people, first of all, how many people are getting that reference in like 1990 versus how many people are getting that reference in 2023? But that's the play. You know, this is what happens. There's so much stuff in this dumb brain of mine that is just retained from pop culture, and it's relevant to maybe 3 people on the planet.
So you, before we get into the Preds, I was reading your article you put out on ESPN Plus earlier about judging NHL overreactions after 1 week of the 23-24 season, and I love these things because I think it's probably safe to say that just about any reaction is an overreaction at this point. But you know, I think like your first one with the Devils, a team that, you know, you're right there with, can't recapture the magic. You call that an overreaction right now. I still think that's a really good hockey team.
I do too. And, you know, it's funny, the overreactions, some of them actually come true. Like,
Yeah.
and we find out at the end of the season that they weren't overreactions. I was looking at last year's column, And one of them was, reports of the Bruins' demise have been greatly exaggerated, and then they go and have the best regular season of all time. So I mean, it's funny how some of these things actually do play out. In the case of the Devils, you can tell that there's two things weighing on them right now. One is obviously the weight of expectations. A lot of people had them maybe even coming out of the East this year after taking the step they took last season, the increase in points and then beating the Rangers in the playoffs. They were amongst the 3 or 4 teams out of the Eastern Conference that people were looking at as a potential, Stanley Cup finalist. And I'm sure that those expectations weigh on them. And the second thing is, from a logistics standpoint, they lost 2 good veteran defensemen from their blue line. They lost Damon Severson, who they traded to Columbus, and they lost Ryan Graves, who signed with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And while neither of those guys is exactly Roman Josi back there, they're both really good at a couple of things. And one of them is breaking out passes to lead the Devils into their transition game where they were dominant last year. So I think they're kind of learning a little bit about life without those guys. They haven't looked like themselves, but I'm with you, man. I think they're going to be all right.
You have one. Is this another wasted season of McDavid's and Draisaitl's primes? I just saw them firsthand Tuesday night when they put a 6 spot up on the Predators, and I can tell you, watching them live, as I know you've seen them, I mean they're special, and I think that's a really good team in the Edmonton Oilers. But I think it's a fair question to ask because we've thought they were a really good team for the last several years, and they don't have a cup to show for it.
Now, is Leon Draisaitl formally listed as one of the owners of the Predators, or does he just own them informally?
I think he owns them informally.
Yeah. So the thing about the Oilers and their first 3 games are kind of indicative of the plight of these 2 guys. They really get manhandled by the Vancouver Canucks in their first 2 games. And then you see them against the Predators, and it's like a totally different team. In the sense that they get a great supporting cast performance, and then they also get really good goaltending from Jack Campbell. And so, there are certain things they're going to need in order to become that Stanley Cup contender that they want to be. And you start to wonder whether it's going to come together for them this season, or if it's going to be another year where McDavid and Draisaitl are left wanting more. I like the fact that they've got this kind of Fogle, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman line seems to be playing well. They do need either Skinner or Jack Campbell to give them a performance in the playoffs that's, not stealing a series, but certainly not losing a series. And then overall, defensively, they just have to get better. Even McDavid and Draisaitl need to be better in that category, despite how good they are. So we'll see if it comes together. But, I mean, the overreaction early is, the same sort of inconsistencies that we see from this team year after year seem to still be there, and if that's the case, then we might be robbed again of Draisaitl and McDavid playing for a cup.
Talking to Greg Wyshynski from ESPN.
All right, Greg, most pro coaches that I talk to like to, especially the NFL, like to break the season down in quarters after 4 games, 8 games on that. With the NHL, it's 20 games, and, a lot can be said those 20 games. But at what point, when you start at the gate so slow, does it become like, oh, this team has got a long way to go? Is it that quarter point, the 20 games, or can you look now and say, oh, man, this isn't – what they're doing now is not good?
It's usually the 20-game mark, which was sort of interesting to see teams already kind of panicking a little bit. Like the Tampa Bay Lightning, John Cooper, their coach, who I mentioned in the column, called their game against Buffalo critical the other day. That's like their 3rd game of the season. And so, he's under some unique pressure in the sense that, his best goalie, Andrei Vasilevsky's out with an injury for 2 months. And, there's all this stuff with Stamkos off the ice and him not having a contract. And it's a different vibe with Tampa Bay than it's been for the last several seasons. So you can kind of feel maybe Coop's trying to light a fire under these guys. But, it's different pressures for different teams. I think the 20-game mark is usually when teams are going to take a serious look at what they have and what they've done. But you're already kind of feeling it in certain places. I mean, whether it's the wins and losses or simply just wanting guys to play a certain way. I think, for example, Rick Tocchet called out the Vancouver Canucks the other day for playing soft in a loss to the Flyers. And that's a coach really trying to emphasize how he wants them to play and not seeing it and calling them out pretty quickly. in order to try to change that course.
I know you can't deal. The schedule is what it is, and the Preds had to go to Boston, and now they play in New York. How critical would it be, though, to go up there and get this big win against the Rangers? You know, these young guys in that iconic setting at Madison Square Garden. I think that would go a long way for this hockey team, confidence-wise, if they got a victory tonight.
Yeah, it's super critical. I'll be at that game tonight, by the way. I'm interested to see what the Preds look like under Andrew Brunette. And I'm reminded, by the way, that first time I ever talked to Andrew Brunette as a head coach was at MSG right after he took over for Joel Quenneville in Florida, which was obviously a much different situation than him taking over in Nashville for a lot of reasons. So I'm interested to see how they're going to play against the Rangers team that is clearly one of the better ones in the East. A veteran team that's been together for a while under Peter Laviolette now as their head coach, and with one of the best goalies on the planet in Igor Shesterkin. So. Yeah, it's important for them to continue to progress forward, to recover from a pretty stout loss against Edmonton, and you want to start to see a little bit more of an offensive uptick from certain guys in the roster, and see what this Brunette system is actually going to play out as this season.
Talking to Greg Wyshynski from ESPN, and yeah, I'm curious, and so of how many times you've gotten to talk to him or listen to him, because I know in his press conferences I've been very impressed after games, especially whether it's a win or a loss, in the detail that he goes into on things that he saw throughout the course of the game. And I mean, he doesn't mince words either. I mean, he was talking the other night that he goes, I feel like we didn't play as poorly as the score shows, but we're still not wanting to do a lot of the little things like getting in the greasy areas and scoring goals that way. And those are the things that we need to do. And I appreciate that honesty, and the players that I've talked to seem to appreciate it too.
Yeah, and that was the big thing in Florida. He was there as an associate coach under Quenneville, and then took over when Quenneville resigned. And his calling card was to be that player's coach. To be the guy who had open communication with the guys on the ice, and I think it's been kind of his calling card as being a head coach. In the times I've interacted with him, as a head coach in the media, he's always been pretty candid about what the team is doing, what it's not doing. He sort of doesn't have a filter to that end. But he's an interesting guy. I don't know if we've talked about it in the past, but he was a guy that didn't always know he was going to be on this track to be a head coach. He was an executive for a while with the Minnesota Wild. He was kind of just trying to figure out what it is he wanted to do. And then he came aboard the staff in Florida. And then, when the Quenneville thing happened, was kind of thrust into that role as a head coach. And then I guess he kind of found the track, because he became an associate coach with Jersey and orchestrated their power play, and then obviously took this opening. So it's an interesting thing when, you have guys that retire, and it seems like their destiny is to be behind the bench or be in the front office. And then you have guys that sort of have to figure it out. And clearly there's something about coaching that he's really been drawn to, and he's good at it. So why not?
So with the Rangers tonight, Peter Laviolette, do you feel like that's ultimately going to work with that roster, with guys like Panarin and Trocheck and Zibanejad, that Laviolette and his style, and we know that style very well here in Nashville, that after a while it just kind of wear thin. But do you think it'll work on the bright lights of Broadway?
Well, like you said, I mean, it wears thin, but not usually in year one. And that usually goes for him and for other coaches of his ilk. His hiring there was just kind of like a bummer a little bit, because they fired Gerard Gallant rather spectacularly after they were beaten by the Devils in the playoffs. And there was, a lot of questions about, okay, well, if it's not Gallant behind the bench, who do you have in mind? And there was names like Quenneville thrown around and others thrown around, and then
Hines came up.
Hines came up, yeah, and then they end up bringing Laviolette in. It's kind of like, oh, so this is like the guy who's now on his fifth or sixth team that you're bringing in to coach what should be potentially a Stanley Cup contender. And there was sort of a little deflating feeling, I think, when they ended up settling on Laviolette, and settling is probably the word for it. But that being said, I mean, he takes. It's not so much what he's going to do for the team or not do for the team. It's the team that he's taking over. I mean, this is, you look around the NHL and you think of teams like Carolina, for example, and Vegas, for example, and maybe Dallas is a good example of teams that just seem like they've had the same roster for like the last 3 seasons. And the Rangers are kind of one of those teams where this group in particular, and there have been some additions here and there like Trocheck you just mentioned, this group in particular has kind of just been together now for the last couple of seasons. And that core is good and their defense is good, and they obviously have Shesterkin back there. So if nothing else, I'm really curious whether a group that, maybe has already hit its ceiling can still level up and play for a cup, or if there needs to be some changes internally. Because the real question about the Rangers, and this is nothing I don't think Laviolette's going to help, is whether they're built to play in the NHL in 2023. Like, it's a speed league. The reason they lost to the Devils is because they were skated out of the building in 4 games of that series, and they don't really have a way to change that because it's built into their DNA. There's no real way to change that right now for the Rangers, and I think that's probably their biggest flaw.
Chase, name those 3 players again you just said to him. What were their names again?
Artemi Panarin, Vincent Trocheck, and Mika Zibanejad.
Just last name. It sounds like medicine for ED. I was like, what in the world? What in the world's going on there? Greg, I always give the bad question, so I'm curious. You go to a lot of games at the Garden. We always see the celebrities on the front and second row at the Knicks games and the Rangers games, but is it an intelligent crowd that goes to these hockey games up there that know what's going on with this hockey team?
Yeah, there definitely are, and the Ranger crowds are very interesting because you get diehards that sit upstairs, they come in their jerseys. You got suits downstairs that are on their corporate tickets, entertaining clients, and then you get a lot of celebrities, man. Like, it ain't the level you would get at a Knicks game necessarily, but it's definitely you definitely get a few celebrities at these games. I mean, a couple of the actors from Stranger Things end up at the Ranger games. We have had Margot Robbie show up to a Ranger game in a Rangers jersey. Michael J. Fox, they nice. Do a thing where every game they're showing people on the Jumbotron that they're at these Ranger games, and sometimes it's surprising who they pull. I mean, Timothée Chalamet was at a Ranger game, like a Ranger playoff game. They put him on the Jumbotron, so it's not just like the fifth actor from The Sopranos that they goes to the Rangers games. Well, it's like actual celebrities sometimes.
Well, the Preds put up one of our hosts on their board and he got booed, so I'm not sure we're going to do that anymore.
I have never seen anybody get booed, and that's saying something because sometimes they do put up like New York athletes, and you figure like the Jets fans would boo the Giants coach or vice versa,
right.
But it's never like that at the place.
Nice.
Yep. It's a cool time at the Garden, that is for sure.
Are we going to tell him the nickname we have for him? We're going to let that go.
You can't. It's your nickname. It's not.
Well, we had Greg. We had Hal Gill was on the day. He was talking about Bruno, and I'm thinking, who the hell's Bruno? And it was a nickname for Andrew Brunette, right? So I had no idea. All these hockey nicknames that go on. So we were trying to come up with a nickname for you, and Chase says, "We'll just call him Wish."
Well, that's it, right? That a lot of people call you that, right?
That is true, yeah. That is sort of the shorthand, but that's mainly because people are afraid of my last name. They can't seem to pronounce it.
I say we embrace it and call you Shawshinky.
Wow.
Right? Like the great movie that nobody saw in the theaters.
That was unexpected.
You're welcome. You can take that from me. I don't mind, buddy.
Well, I like it because Shawshank essentially is the thing that you find by accident on cable, and then you just like immerse yourself in it. So I think there's probably a parallel to my writing. I mentioned this on Twitter before, but so Patton Oswalt's coming on the show today.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So this is hilarious because one of the things that has always been said to me is that, and this is probably just because I have a big moon face and I'm funny, is that people have called me a slightly skinnier Patton Oswalt throughout my life. So I was saying, this is probably the closest in proximity I've ever come to him. So I don't know. There may be a rip in the space-time continuum at some point during your conversation with me and him being on the same show so closely together.
Well, we'll let you know how it turns out for sure. Hey, appreciate it as always, my friend, and we'll talk next week.
Anytime.
Thanks. Greg Wyshynski joining us from ESPN. Always a good time with him. We'll have more coming here on the Chase and Big Joe show, but right now, your chance to win a pair of tickets. I got to pull it up because I don't remember which game it is. Predators, and it's Saturday night. Predators and San Jose Sharks. Saturday night at Bridgestone Arena. Caller number 5, 615-737-1025 will win a pair of tickets to see the Preds take on the Sharks this Saturday, October 21st at Bridgestone Arena. Join in on the fun and help celebrate the 25th anniversary season and 25 years of Smashville. Tickets available at NashvillePredators.com/tickets.
He breaks down every game.
The players are still going to be fine.
And knows the ins and outs of the two-tone blue.
They deal with their own position coaches.
He is ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter Teron Davenport.
It's clear what he's doing.
TD joins every Monday at 1, Thursdays at 3, Friday mornings at 8, and anytime on the Talkin' with TD podcast.
I think that's really cool how he could show both sides.
TD is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Art, sound, and sensory overload. Tool 2024 North American Tour. January 23rd, Bridgestone Arena. With special guest, Elder. Experience the sound and vision of Tool. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Tool in concert.
Blue Raider fans, your home for all the MTSU football and men's basketball action is on 93.3 Classic Hits and 95.1 Classic Hits in the borough. Catch the action all season long with Chip Walters on the call. Go Blue Raiders!
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can do it now in less than a week. Hey, Willie Donick here. That's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. You don't even have to touch your primary mortgage. You can keep that 3% rate intact. Get just the money you need and pay off all those credit cards or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Hun, we need to stop putting off getting life insurance.
I know. It's just been so busy, and I'm sure the cost is out of our budget.
Well, Jen told me that they got a $500,000 term life insurance policy from Ethos for less than $23 a month. All online with no complicated forms and no medical exam. All they had to do was answer a few health questions.
Wait, no medical exam and all online?
I know, right? It's not easy to think about, but if something happened to you, James and I would be...
Okay, I get it. Let's get a quote from Ethos right now. Wow, you were right. There's no medical exam. And Ethos makes the whole online process fast and easy. And look at these rates and coverage options. It's great protection and totally fits our budget.
Ethos. They've removed all the barriers from getting coverage. Go to checkethos.com to get your free online quote. That's checkethos.com. Quote based on a healthy, non-smoking 30-year-old male with a 20-year term policy. Rates may vary.
This is the Chase and Big Joe Show, brought to you by Regal Realty Group.
Coach, didn't you say at the beginning of the season that we should be really fat? No, I said fast. Oh, damn! On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Exciting and little Love Boat on a TV theme Thursday. 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe with you. Appreciate Greg Wyshynski for joining us. We'll have John McClain from Houston coming up in just a few minutes. Patton Oswalt at the bottom of the next
looking
hour.
Forward to that. I'm going to ask Patton Oswalt how my co-host cannot stand Love Boat, and I'm just it's kind of throwing me for a loop today. I got to get past that later on.
Well, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But, looking through his, on IMDb, everything that he's been on, he was on King of Queens. He was a regular on King of Queens. But, all the guest appearances that he's made on different shows over the years. I love the show Burn Notice. He was on there for a few episodes.
That's right, he was, wasn't he?
Two and a Half Men, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He played, 10 characters on there. He's Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He was in 22 – or – he made a cameo in 22 Jump Street. He's been in so many different
Love
things.
it. He's also the same height as Justin Beasley.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
So he
is. Do people know who Justin Beasley is?
We do. That's all that we know.
I mean, he gives an opinion on Twitter every now and then.
It's usually wrong. That's all right, though.
That's okay. Predators and Rangers tonight. I'll have pregame coverage for you at 5 o'clock. Max Hers, Hal Gill will be on the call. Pete Weber will be back in the booth on Saturday for the home games, for the 3 home games, and then Max will handle the big road trip that they will go on as they do every November when the Country Music Awards.
Don't you dare say CMA road trip.
I didn't. I'm just explaining what it is.
Dare say CMA road trip at all.
Just explaining what happens. All right, sorry.
How dare you?
How dare me
to do all that? Also,
so do you feel better that you got Love Boat?
Yeah, I did. Thank you, Dr. Crane, for that. I do feel better. I'm actually having a time walking down memory lane for this Tennessee-Alabama game on Saturday, tweeting out iconic moments from the Bama-Tennessee games throughout the years. Obviously, there's a few moments which stand out. The Joey Kent touchdown in 1995, the Dale Jones tip pass in 85, Johnny Jones running crazy over Bama in 83. And I know it's one-sided. I know Bama's won 98% of the games there, but the times Tennessee has won this football game have been really exciting. I go back to last year in that game up in Neyland, which probably will be forever ingrained in memories.
I mean, that was such a great football game.
To top with everything that goes on.
I loved that game.
It was great. Bama had 47 chances to put Tennessee away.
Yeah, but then every time, it'd be like Tennessee would get the ball back and Jalen Hyatt just go be standing in the field by himself.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's up?
You're right. It was amazing, and it's I think it'll be a far different environment on Saturday. I think Bama pummels Tennessee because I think Saban that game hit him hard. He's had a year to think about it and prepare for it.
See, I think Bama wins, but I don't think they pummel them.
I do. I think they're going to go after Tennessee.
There's
Saban's
a lot of hate there. You're right.
Saban's angry. I mean that game, and then what happened after the game on the field.
You want to talk about getting respect back. This is if Tennessee goes to Tuscaloosa and they win this game, then all of a sudden they are now in the conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
They are back in the conversation once again.
100%.
We'll talk more about that. But coming up next, John McClain going to join us from Houston. We'll get into the NFL and the Titans with him for 30 minutes. We'll do that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
We gather together in communities across the nation to remember and honor, to celebrate and support, to light the night. We are LLS, and when we walk, cancer runs. Find your local event at lightthenight.org.
All of us at 102.5 and 106.3 The Game want to recognize our active military, veterans, first responders, and educators with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
This is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Now, Your Game Center update.
This Game Center update is delivered by Black Tie Moving. I'm Nick Frazier. Nashville Predators defenseman Luke Shin will miss some time on the ice the next 4 to 6 weeks with a lower body injury, as the Predators announced Wednesday. Tonight, the Preds are on the road in the Big Apple and take on former head coach Peter Laviolette and his New York Rangers, with coverage beginning at 5 p.m. The Tennessee Titans have made some news, not for their play on the field, but off the field. After Sunday's game in London, Jeffrey Simmons and Odell Beckham Jr. got into a scuffle. According to Jamison Hensley, Odell said there's nothing really to talk about. And in other news around the NFL, according to Adam Schefter, former New York Jets wide receiver McCole Hardman is headed back to Kansas City in exchange for a 2025 7th round and 6th round pick. I'm Nick Frazier, and you're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Game Center update delivered by Black Tie Moving. Use the promo code GAME to score 10% off your next move.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025thegame or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 1025 and 1063.
And a score!
You can run different offenses.
The doors on the board.
Off the field, on the field.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Let me talk to you. Talking what's important to Nashville.
Sweet mother of God, what is the holdup?
This is the Chase and Big Joe Show.
Well, Lottie frickin' God!
With Chase McCabe and Big Joe Dubin. Brought to you by Regal Realty Group.
Good, great, grand, wonderful.
We're here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. John McClain, Sports Radio 610.com down in Houston, joins us every week. Nice enough. We moved days this week. He's on Thursday, usually Wednesdays at 9:30. John, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. After that big Astros win over the Rangers last night, Texans have a bye week. They're 3-3. A lot of teams are unhappy with 3-3, but considering that equals their victory total from last season, people are ecstatic because they're 3-1 in their last 4 games. And the only loss was a field goal with no time left in Atlanta, a team that the Titans can beat.
Well, do you think the Titans can beat them with either Malik Willis or Will Levis at quarterback? Because that's probably going to be the case. It looks like Ryan Tannehill is going to miss some time.
Yeah, well, I wonder if Tannehill will ever play again. Mike Vrabel's going to go with the quarterback he thinks gives him the best chance to win, and I'm guessing that's going to be Willis. When he's going to, I would imagine, run the ball a lot along with Henry and Spears. They'll kind of borrow from the Falcons formula, although Desmond Ritter's thrown for over 300 yards in the last 2 games. Looked great against the Texans, looked horrendous because of 3 interceptions and a couple of clock management issues. So this kind of going to be, when they play, an old-fashioned kind of a throwback game between 2 coaches who know each other well, and both of them love to run the football.
So as you can imagine, around here, the natives are restless. They've lost 2 in a row to Indianapolis and go to London and lose to Baltimore in a game, both games that they had opportunities to win. Now Tannehill's hurt, and so there's been a lot of discussion on, is it time for the fire sale? Is it time to shop Henry? Is it time to shop Byard and Hopkins and Danico Autry? And while I understand it and maybe look to the future, I just don't feel like there's going to be much of a market to get much back for any of those guys. What do you think?
I agree. I think that and look at it from Vrabel and Rand Carthorne's perspective. They're 2 games out of first place. Yes, they're not as good as Jacksonville. They're also 1 game out of second, but they're in last place. I don't think you go with Will Levis at a time like this. There's plenty of time to see him later in the season if they continue to struggle. But no team in the NFL has a fire sale anymore where they get rid of a bunch of players. And I think this is going to be there, because I think Goodell would step in if he thought teams were tanking on purpose. You don't tank by getting rid of players. You tank by who you play. And if the Titans want to tank, put Will Levis out there, because the odds are they're not going to win. I'm not even saying they're going to win as much. Maybe Willis could give them 2 or 3 more wins. But you guys know when the draft comes along, one more victory can have a big meaning. Like when the Texans won their last game in Indianapolis and Lovie Smith went for 2 and made it, and they beat the Colts, and he was fired, and he was going to be fired anyway because he did a terrible job. But fans just went ballistic because they were mad because, man, you cost us Bryce Young. Now they got stuck with C.J. Stroud, and it's amazing the way sometimes things work out.
It is. We're talking to the great John McClain. John, why aren't there more in-season trades in the National Football League? You know, you see it in baseball, basketball, and hockey, but in the NFL, very rarely do you see that. I mean, there are a few here and there, but why aren't there more compared to the other leagues?
One player doesn't make as big a difference in football unless it's a quarterback, of course, and good quarterbacks are not going to be traded. There's some teams, fans and media pushing them, well, get Kirk Cousins. You know, Kirk Cousins, his contract's up. Well, you don't want to do at this time of year. So basketball, you know, you can get one player and he can get you to playoffs. Baseball, if you get a pitcher, a guy who can start, or a guy who can close, or maybe a guy that's that we see a lot of rentals in baseball. And there's lots of talk right now. Will the Padres trade Juan Soto with one more year left on his contract after he turned down $440 million with the Nationals before they traded him to San Diego? So we see it's so much fun at deadline time in baseball. In football, the deadline used to be a lot earlier. And one of the reasons they didn't want to move it back is they didn't want teams that knew they were out of it to start unloading players. Now, you can unload a couple, but if you unload a bunch, I think the commissioner, you could earn the wrath of the commissioner because they don't want anybody to actually think that they're tanking.
I know there's a lot of new football fans who weren't alive when this happened, but you go back to that Herschel Walker trade with Jimmy Johnson happened in October of 1989. John, I never see that kind of trade happening again because there were so many moving parts. It was funny that the Oilers somehow got involved indirectly because with the pick they got from the Vikings, they took Brad Hopkins in 1993. Just a crazy trade that'll never happen again. At least I don't think it will.
Well, it'll never happen again because it was so one-sided. And at the time, people are like, what in the world is Jimmy Johnson doing? He needs to go back to college. And Walker at the time was a great running back. And what Jimmy was not allowed to say is that any of the players he acquired, he could get first-round picks for. And that was in the deal. He couldn't tell anybody that. And, you know, he was rubbing his hands in glee behind the scenes today that would leak out. But so he got rid of several of those guys and got number one picks over the next 2 years. And there were a couple of twos thrown in there as well. So he took what the Vikings, who they wanted to get rid of, and turned them into number one picks that brought a couple of their great players that helped them win 3 Super Bowls. And you couldn't do a deal like that again and keep parts of it secret. And if you tried to, it would leak. But we'll never see anything like that again. I went to a birthday party for Ken Houston. Ken started with the Oilers. For some reason, they traded him to the Redskins. He was the first ballot Hall of Famer. People always say in Houston, well, that DeAndre Hopkins trade's the worst in Houston football history. No, it's not. If Hop goes to the Hall of Fame on the first ballot, but they traded Kenny Houston to Washington for like 7 tomato cans. And he went on to play great. And it still we never got an answer. It was before my time of covering them, but we never got an answer out of Bud, if it was Bud Adams that made him do it, if it was the general manager that did it. But there have been so many bad trades, more in baseball than any sport.
This is why I love talking to you. Were you there when Largent was cut and was sent on to Seattle?
No, but I know all about it because they thought they could sneak him through waivers, just like Steve Tasker. You know, people think Steve Tasker, Buffalo. They don't realize that Bum Phillips drafted him.
Wow! And
they thought that they could get Tasker snuck through waivers, and of course Bills claimed him, and he turned out to be one of the greatest special teams players ever. And then Largent was a low pick. It's funny, all the players today, if you're a seventh-round pick, oh, my God, you're a seventh-rounder. Seventh round used to be a premium pick because the draft went like 24 rounds, then 18, 16, 14, 12. I started when it was 12, and they tried to do it over multiple days. And one time they did it in one day, and we're up at 2 a.m. waiting on the last draft choice. And Largent, Bum Phillips said that was the greatest mistake he ever made was on Steve Largent, sending him to Seattle and turning into one of the greatest receivers in history and a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
John McClain is with us from Houston. I'm curious of when I know you're covering the Texans, but when you flip on a Titans game or you see the highlights and you see Derrick Henry standing on the sideline, that's obviously been a big conversation around here of are they using him enough? Because when he gets into a rhythm, that's when all of a sudden the Titans offense starts to work. And statistically, if he has the ball in his hands over 20 times in a game, they usually win. So what goes through your mind when you're seeing him on the sideline?
Well, I do try to keep up with the Titans as much as I can. And when I see Tyjae Spears averaging 5.5 yards a carry and his longest run is 22 yards, I think, boy, I can understand them trying to get him in space, and he's a decent receiver. Now, if they thought Derrick Henry behind the offensive line that they have could be the dominating force that he's been, they'd be using him that way. But also maybe they're trying to hope he could stay healthy over 17 games. I've always thought that they needed somebody to take some of the heat off of him because of the beating that he takes. And it's not just his career. I'm amazed at the end of his season. They always seem to play the Texans late, and the Texans, he kills the Texans. That he's got that much left because he gets hit so many times when he doesn't have the ball. You think about play action. He gets hit on play action. People are not watching him. They're watching Tannehill roll out and seeing who he's going to throw the ball to while Henry's been popped again. I'd like to see somebody keep up one time. Not how many carries he has, but how many times he gets hit and by how many players. That could be what they're trying to preserve him for. But when they come off that bye week, they got to do everything they can to beat the Falcons because then they got those 3 road games in a row. And the 3 teams they play, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, and Jacksonville, none has a losing record. So none are pushovers. And so it's a tough schedule till they get down to Carolina on November 26th. Then they get 4 or 5 at home. But they've got to get that running game going where it's dominant. I don't know if they can with that offensive line. It's amazing to me, guys, how many offensive lines right now are struggling because they're not good or they got injuries or both. And the reason is there's linemen coming out of college today, they throw the ball so much. They don't run block like they used to. When they came in the NFL, they were vicious run blockers, and they had to be taught about pass protection. But now it's all about pass protection. They have to be taught about run blocking. And then when you fit in injuries, and then I was at this deal for Kenny Houston talking to a lot of former players, and it got around to the offensive line. There were some offensive linemen there saying offensive linemen need to hit in the off season more than any other position. And if you don't, you're going to get off to a slow start. And, of course, nobody can hit in the off season.
He is John McClain from Houston. We will have more with him coming up next here on the Chase and Big Joe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Some people put off things that need doing. Not you. Harbor Freight knows you're a today's the day kind of person. An I'm on it kind of person. A bring it kind of person. So if you're rolling up your sleeves today and you don't want to overpay for tools, you're a Harbor Freight kind of person. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
At Mercedes-Benz of Music City, a healthy and productive culture takes a day-to-day discipline. Here's Sam Cavett, General Manager, with a few thoughts.
Mercedes-Benz has its standard, and we have Dream Motor Group standards. They're definitely on the same level, but I feel like we challenge ourselves at least as much as Mercedes-Benz challenges us. It's a genuine motivation to take care of customers, and we see it in the customer reviews.
Live the dream at Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Teddy's Tavern, downtown's newest bar with an old Nashville feel, is conveniently located across the street from Bridgestone Arena and just blocks away from the pedestrian bridge. Get a taste of the new brunch menu to fuel your Titans Day pride on game day. Pre-game specials from 9 a.m. till kickoff when the Titans play at home include 2-for-1 draft beers, mimosas, and Bloody Marys. Teddy's Tavern is where you want to be before every Titans home game, so come downtown early and meet me at Teddy's.
Vanderbilt Commodore fans, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, along with 94.9 The Fan, is your new home for broadcast of games and the Commodore Hour on Monday evenings. Catch all the action for football, men's and women's basketball, and baseball all season long. Go Doors!
If you are experiencing persistent shoulder pain that may be the result of overuse or an injury such as a rotator cuff tear or tendonitis, the world-class orthopedic team at Houston Clinic Orthopedics will give you the appropriate medical attention to prevent any additional damage to the shoulder. Chronic pain or a permanent injury may occur without proper treatment. Houston Clinic Orthopedics is conveniently located where you work and live. Visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online. When experience matters, trust Houston Clinic Orthopedics.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
In any work environment, culture is the most important thing. And what makes up the culture? The people. Hey, this is General Manager Sean Ford with Cromwell Media. And this month, we have several celebrating their anniversary working with us. From our corporate office, Janice Russell is celebrating 33 years and Dorothy Black, 29. Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexroad, the duo that make up our morning show on 102.5 The Game, are celebrating 3 years. And Connor Newt, who works for 102.5 behind the scenes, is celebrating 1 year with us as well. If you're looking for a new career, reach out to us at together@cromwellmedia.com. Love what you do, love where you work.
You're listening to the Chase and Big Joe Show, brought to you by Regal Realty Group.
I got a hot date tonight. Hot date. Dinner with Fred. Dinner alone. Watching TV alone. All right. I'm going to sit at home and ogle the ladies in the Victoria's Secret catalog. Sears catalog.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game on a TV-themed Thursday. Talking with the great John McClain. You can find his work at sportsradio610.com in Houston. Also does a lot of appearances on that radio station and others across the country, including this one.
John, what do you think make of Aaron Rodgers? I'm going to get back, and all that talk there. And by the way, that Jets-Eagles game on Sunday, it was simply fantastic. And Zach Wilson, although he's not nearly as what they thought he would be, you see a little progress each and every week. But let's talk about Rodgers. Do you think he makes it back?
I'll tell you what, Joe, nobody knows, but watching him out there throwing the ball, and if you didn't know he had surgery for Achilles a month ago, you wouldn't have any clue, because he was walking normally, and maybe he's going to go back into the darkness and come out, and that'll help him. He does such weird stuff. Who knows? Now, if they're saying, well, he might be back for the playoffs. If Zach Wilson helps them get to the playoffs, would you take a guy who hadn't played all season coming off major surgery and put him out there in a playoff game over the guy who helped you get there? I don't know that they would do that. If he were able to come back, say the last 2 regular season games, maybe. And I'm not saying he can't do it, because we just don't know. Traditionally, Achilles takes 4 to 6 months, and a quarterback who has to move around in the pocket quite a bit and push off every time he throws the ball, that almost seems like you run the risk of tearing it again, but it's a great story. And I think the fact that he's there, you know, he started off in California. People wondered, will he disappear back to California? Will he help? Will he help the offense and Zach Wilson? Well, he came back, and from watching him on Hard Knocks, he's very respected. He works behind the scenes helping those guys. It was Tom Brady. It was the Aaron Rodgers show on HBO, and he put his best foot forward. But I was impressed. And their defense is great. Their running game is great. They're not going to finish first or second, but they're still in the wild card conversation. And, man, if he gets closer to coming back where they say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks he could play, it's going to be all Rodgers all the time like it was all across the offseason.
John, you know so much about the NFL. You know all the owners and the history and the teams. What owner would give Caleb Williams partial ownership of their football team if he's drafted?
That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. You can't do that. Have they ever heard of a salary cap? No, you can't give anybody anything. I remember one time, Pat Bolin was giving John Elway money while he played to be a partner in the Arena League team. And they said, whoa, that's a salary cap violation. Any income a player gets from an owner, it goes towards the salary cap. So when I saw that story, I'm saying, well, why don't y'all put in there it's impossible because of the salary cap? And the dumbass agents ought to know better that it's a violation of the salary cap. If I'm Caleb Williams, I'm embarrassed that they're doing something that's stupid because it's impossible.
I agree. That is fantastic. John McClain is with us. Is the game of the year going to happen Sunday night between Miami and Philadelphia? Because I'm really looking forward to this one.
Everybody's looking forward to this game, but it's too early to be the game of the year because so many things can happen. Philadelphia obviously wants to play well enough for the Phillies to be proud of the Eagles because right now the Eagles have yet to be a dominant team like they were a lot of last season. One of the most amazing stats in football to me is, other than the Patriots, no Super Bowl loser has gone back to the Super Bowl since the Steelers in the 90s. Why is that? The team that loses Super Bowl should be the hungriest team in football. Can't wait for the offseason and the preseason and the season, but they always seem to struggle. Fortunately for the Eagles, Cowboys, their chief competitor, also is struggling. But Miami, they're fun to watch now. Wait till they have to go play in the East when in December and January when the weather gets bad. But they're the most exciting team in football. They lost Devon Achane, who was Devin Achane at Texas A&M. Now he's Devon Achane. He was only averaging 11 yards a carry when he suffered a knee injury and went on injured reserve. And then Raheem Mostert steps up, and he's just as good. So it's amazing what Mike McDaniel has created there. And if the Eagles don't dominate with their defensive front, they're going to lose another game, but I think they'll bounce back.
And we've talked to you about Mike McDaniel before because he obviously spent some time in Houston. But for me, like if I'm ranking coaches based on just guys that I root for right now, it's Mike McDaniel and Dan Campbell is top two. And you got a good one there in Houston.
It's very interesting that you say that, Chase, because I looked at the odds back when the Texans lost their first two games. The odds of D'Amico Ryans being voted Coach of the Year 40-1. Now they're 7-1, and he's third behind Campbell and McDaniel. I'm not so sure Detroit's not the best team in the NFC, and the reason is this renaissance of the Lions started about midway through last season when they started poorly, and then they improved their defense. Jared Goff is playing great. He's got to be in the MVP conversations. They're going to lose both coordinators, Ben John offense, Aaron Glenn defense, to head coaching jobs, I imagine. And they've been tremendous. They can score. They can play defense. They're physical. They don't make a lot of mistakes. And I think those two guys right now, and I think D'Amico Ryans is third, but what Campbell and McDaniel are so different. Campbell wants to run over you. He wants to bite you in the knee. McDaniel wants to run around you, run between your legs. He wants to jump over you. He wants to outthink you. They're almost like two totally different coaches, but they're both Renaissance men.
John, we got every week we'll probably bring this up. Bill Belichick. I mean, that football team's not good. Now that comes out, he's a couple of wins away from having the most losses, which I don't think is a factor because he's coached for so long and won all the Super Bowls. But I mean, that narrative with him, and this is getting to a critical stage because that's a bad team. And then you put the record out he had with Brady, and the Brady without Brady is a losing record. It's not a good time to be a Patriot fan.
Well, that tells me he needs another great quarterback. And I think there's some teams. It's amazing how many teams need quarterbacks. And this is a great draft for quarterbacks, starting with Caleb Williams and Drake May. And if they get in position or close enough to trade, the whole key is, will he be the guy making the decisions? Jerod Mayo's on that staff, and he played there. He's been a coach there. Carolina wanted to interview him for the job that went to Frank Reich. They gave him a huge raise not to interview. So a lot of people think he is the heir apparent to Belichick because he knows everything about that team. And what a way you start with a new coach, a popular guy, and he starts with a new quarterback picked high in the first round. And then does Belichick sail away, or does he try to keep working? Because I doubt anybody's going to hire him at his age, but it's one of the great mysteries. Aaron Rodgers, Achilles, and Bill Belichick's coaching future are two of the biggest mysteries in the NFL. It's going to be so much fun to see how they play out.
John McClain is with us. All right, so I'll ask you, you just mentioned Caleb Williams and, what you would do there. It came up this morning on our morning show. If the Titans just are terrible the rest of the way and they somehow end up with the first pick, which I don't think they're going to, but just for hypotheticals, and Caleb Williams, obviously that's the guy. Do you take it, or do you view all the holes that the Titans have and trade that pick and get a lot of draft capital to try and fill those holes and build around Levis?
If you get a quarterback, if you have a chance to get a generational quarterback, you have to do it. And there's no way. You can use free agency in the draft to build around them, but you've got to have the quarterback. And that's why they're going to have to see Levis at some point over multiple games to see what they think. They see behind the scenes. The key is when he makes mistakes, does he bounce back from them? How does he handle it mentally? What kind of leader he is? How does he react to adversity? How does he react to success? The only way you're going to find those things out is playing them over multiple games. I've seen this play out with C.J. Stroud, who started terribly in preseason and then all of a sudden just keeps getting better. And one of the things is he's very well coached, but they've had a great off season of free agents that none of them got more than a 2-year contract. So those guys are out there. And I think the Titans would, unless Will Levis convinced Mike Vrabel and Rand Cawthorn, I am the quarterback of the future. If you had a shot at Caleb Williams or Drake May, you got to take it.
Well, John, great stuff as always. Appreciate it, and enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Guys, thank you very much. I hope you're talking to me on Wednesday when the Astros are in the World Series, but I'm not holding my breath. Thank you.
We will see for sure. Thanks, John. Great job as always. All right, I told you we're giving away a lot of stuff today. You ready to give away some KISS tickets?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's do this. We're actually going to give away 2 pairs of KISS tickets. So caller 4 and caller 5 will win a pair of KISS tickets at 615-737-1025. This contest is presented by Green Trees Company, a family-owned cannabis company and dispensary providing high-quality legal THC products for anyone seeking medicine, relief, or wellness. Located in Hendersonville and a new location in West Nashville and available at greentreescompany.com. Coming up next, we'll talk to Patton Oswalt. He's going to be in town. We'll tell you why. Looking forward to that here on the Chase and Big Joe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
If it's important to Nashville,
I'll put it out right now.
It's important to Jared Stillman.
Like, that's it.
He's not afraid to ask the tough questions.
Something is going on, and the question is, what does it mean?
Or give the strong opinion.
And just needed the bozo offensive coordinator to stop ruining the quarterback.
Stillman and Company. Weekdays at 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can do it now in less than a week. Hey, Willie Donick here. That's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. You don't even have to touch your primary mortgage. You can keep that 3% rate intact. Get just the money you need and pay off all those credit cards or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Come try Calabria Brick Oven Pizzeria. Their pizza is cooked to perfection, but that's not all they're known for. Try one of their delicious appetizers, salads, fresh calzones, and they have a full bar and dessert. Calabria has been a Mount Juliet staple for 7 years now and has a new location in the heart of Goodlettsville off Long Hollow Pike. Come join the family at Calabria. After all, life's too short to eat bad pizza.
Hey, are you seeking relief? Maybe you just want to enhance your day or night. Did you know there are legal THC products available right here in Tennessee? Yeah, really. You can have legal THC products shipped directly to the comfort of your home. Yes, Comfort and Cannabis is only a website away. Visit greentreescompany.com. That's Green Trees with a Z, and change your life today.
City Winery presents Patton Oswalt Effervescent Tour live Saturday, October 21st at 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. The comedian, actor, and writer has found success in all areas of entertainment, from his award-winning comedy specials to his many memorable film and TV roles. Oswalt continues to choose work that inspires him and entertains audiences. You may know him as Principal Durbin on NBC's AP Bio. Patton Oswalt continues to make audiences laugh around the world. Don't miss Patton Oswalt this Saturday, 10/21 at City Winery. Get your tickets at citywinery.com.
Thanks for the coffee. No problem. With my cash rewards card from Navy Federal Credit Union, I get up to 1.75% cash back. Isn't it 1.5%? Now it's up to 1.75%. That's bigger and better. I bought these scones with my cash back. I love scones. Me too. Scones for everyone.
When you sign up for direct deposit, you can earn up to 1.75% cash back with the Cash Rewards Card. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA.
Hey, if you missed our show, you can get it on demand. Just search for the Chase and Big Joe Show podcast on Apple, Spotify, or any podcast platform.
Chase and Big Joe are on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin hanging out with you on a TV-themed Thursday. Very excited about what is happening this weekend. Our next guest, Patton Oswalt, joins us now. He is coming to City Winery here in Nashville. He's got two shows. Saturday, which a 7 o'clock show is already sold out, but the 10 o'clock show still can get tickets. We're also going to give you some tickets away here in just a little bit. Patton, good morning. How are you?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic. Really cool to have you on the show, and I know that you've been going all around on your effervescent tour. Say that 3 times fast.
No, I realized after we did the posters, I'm like, that is not an easy word to say, because I started doing interviews. People were like, so this is the evanescence? What? Like, I'm like, oh, God, what the hell was I thinking? Why didn't I just call it funny? What the hell I got an effervescent?
No, but it's good, and I know that it's going to be funny. So how's it been going for you so far on the tour?
It's really, really fun. I did the 40 Watt in Athens, Georgia last night, and the mayor came to the show and gave me the key to the city.
Ooh. So
I'm going to walk around today with my key and see if people can give me free shit all day. I'm very excited.
That's fantastic. I got to ask you, what made you get into comedy? I mean, was this something you always wanted to do growing up? And what was the first time, I guess a two-part question, what made you want to do comedy? And what was like the first time you got that laugh?
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, I'd always wanted to do, like, I always loved comedy. I didn't know if I could make a living at it. And then when I was 19, I started doing open mics in Washington, D.C., and they didn't go very well. But I do remember on my first night, I completely ate it, but one joke that I said made one comedian give me a comedian laugh. Comedian laugh was when another comedian just goes, well, like they acknowledge that there's kind of a joke there, and that was enough for me. Then I was hooked. Like, I'm in.
Talking to Patton Oswalt, he'll be in Nashville. So, I mean, you've done so many TV shows and movies and everything, but what is it about just the intimacy of being with a live audience and being able to do comedy that way?
Because it's an event. Like an actual live show, things will happen at that live show that will not happen anywhere else, because the crowd is its own separate thing that's never going to happen again. It's that group of people. And it's also, there's that excitement of this could be great, but this could go horribly wrong. And there is excitement in the potential for things going horribly wrong. Usually it doesn't, but sometimes something really weird or bizarre happens, and that makes it so much memorable. Not only do you get a night of entertainment, but you walk away like, oh my God, I have a great story. I can't believe I just saw that happen.
Oh, I got to ask you, for somebody who's had 2 kids, and I've watched Ratatouille a billion times, just that movie, when you get the script, when you were offered that, what went through your mind like, oh, okay, I'll try this, see what happens? But Patton, I mean, that became a global smash. Did you have any idea?
No, I mean, it was a Pixar movie, so I figured, well, it's going to be good. Pixar is, their track record is amazing. And then plus it's Brad Bird, the guy that did The Incredibles, the guy that did The Iron Giant. I was still like, but it is a movie about a guy with a rat on his head that's controlling him to become a gourmet chef. That's a weird buy to put audiences through. But for some reason, man, that thing clicked. Yeah, I was amazed that I was offered it. Then I was amazed when I found out what the plot was. And then I was even more amazed when I'm like, I guess people were hungry for a movie about a rat that wants to be a cook. There you go. You never know.
No,
I love that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like I told my daughter last night you were coming on the show, and then from Ratatouille, she's like, oh, yeah, so we spent 10 minutes laughing about the movie that we haven't talked about in 10 years. So thank you for that walk down memory lane with my daughter last night.
Oh, my God. Wow, thank you. Yeah, that's one of those movies that it is a weird perennial where, like, little kids love it, and then adults also love it. And I feel like as people get older and they revisit it every 5 or 6 years, they're like, oh, there's actually stuff in this movie that I didn't even notice.
Right.
Which is kind of cool.
Patton Oswalt is with us. So one of my favorite, I love the Marvel movies and the whole Marvel universe. You were on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as a guest star, playing like, what was it, 3 or 4 different brothers and the Koenigs are on there. How fun was that to work with that cast? And also, even though you were kind of the same character, but doing different characters.
Yeah, that cast was fantastic. Clark Gregg is so fun to work with. Ming-Na Wen is such a fun actress. And then for me, I did a lot of scenes where I was playing against myself. So they'd have a double like walk along with me, and I'd have a little earpiece in my ear with my earlier dialogue that I would then react to as I was talking. And so that was this really cool little acting challenge where I'm like, oh, there's 2 of me, and I have to remember how I did my performance earlier and then react to it as if I'm hearing it for the first time.
Fantastic.
That was bizarre.
Well, that's great. Patton Oswalt's going to be at City Winery. The first show was sold out on Saturday night. Second one, a few tickets left available. What does that feel like, when you're coming to a town and your shows are going to sell out?
That always feels amazing. I mean, the fact that especially Nashville is one of those cities where there's always a ton of amazing shows going on. So if you could do a show and sell it out, I did the Ryman Auditorium a few years ago, and I sold that out on like a Saturday night. And that was I bragged about that. I was like, I sold out the Ryman in Nashville. That you could not have more awesome entertainment options. And if people have decided to come and see you're like, I really want to deliver and show up, so I've got a whole new hour of material. I'm really excited about it. But yeah, that second show is going pretty quick, which again, that's a little bit of a brag. The fact that my second show in Nashville on a Saturday night is going quick, that feels really good. That's very gratifying.
I love it. Also, for a guy growing up, did you ever think you'd have a Grammy for Best Comedy Album? I mean, that to me is on a whole nother level, Patton.
Oh yeah, no, I never ever. That wasn't even in my. I just want to make a living as a comedian, and then when all that started happening, I was like, oh, okay, nice. So I will constantly be pleasantly surprised by that.
Where is your Grammy currently? Because here's what I would do. If I had a Grammy, Patton, I'd go to dinner and they'd say
table around your neck, and
I'd say table for two, and I'd put the Grammy in the other seat. Where's your Grammy?
Okay, look, I'm sorry, dude. That's disgusting. That is a really disrespectful way to treat. That's a prestigious award. I have it bolted onto the hood of my car that lets me park in handicapped spaces, and I don't have to tip valets anymore. That's but wearing it around your neck at a restaurant, my God, have some dignity.
When you come in your house and people see that, because you got Emmys and all these awards, and I'm just curious, a Grammy. I mean, that's something you don't see every single day.
No, it's oh God, I don't want to call it bling. It really, I'll put it this way, it really decorates the shelf.
Love it.
Patton Oswalt is with us. You've touched on it a little bit, but with everything that you've done, whether it's stand-up or voice work or TV shows, like, when was the moment where it clicked? Was it during King of Queens that, like, hey, like, I've made it, like, I'm living out my dream? When was that moment?
Oh boy. Look, I was happy when I was just able to pay the rent doing stand-up, but when I got I had a role on Seinfeld. That's my first acting role on TV. I have one line of dialogue, but I got a SAG-AFTRA card out of it. I was in the union, and that was like, okay, I'm legit now. I've been on TV. I've made it.
That's cool. That is really, really cool.
Well, with your show Saturday night, the new stand-up and everything, I mean, when you go back and you sit down, you write new comedy and everything, what's your inspiration? Where do you come from? And how does that all put together to make a fantastic show?
Well, that's the good thing about the inspiration. You never know when it's going to come. That's like a lot of the stuff that I end up doing jokes about are stuff that surprised me that it ended up being funny to me. And I think that you can translate that surprise to the audience, and they can be surprised and delighted along with you in terms of like, oh, my God, I never even thought of that as being funny. So I always try to keep my mind open to those possibilities. The idea of last night when I was at the 40 Watt, it was the 20th anniversary of recording my first album.
Wow.
And one of my bits I did one bit from the first album, which is about the Black Angus Steakhouse, which back then I never thought that would become a comedy bit, but the ridiculousness of how they do their menu is you just got to keep your eyes open to that kind of stuff. That's the fun. If you don't know where it's going to come from and you're surprised by it, the audience will be surprised by it.
Oh, I love it. Who is for us, and I think you're about the same age, when Eddie Murphy came out with Delirious and Raw, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I watching here? It's fantastic. What was your inspiration growing up?
When I was really young, the two that was just, and I know it's very cliche, but it was Pryor and Carlin. I had all their albums. I even had Richard Pryor's albums, the little ones he would do kind of in between his major albums where he was just kind of messing around, albums like Are You Serious and stuff like that.
Yes.
And then once I started doing comedy, it's always been my circle of friends. Those have been the people that have influenced me, the people that I work with and do shows with and watch. My opener on my shows right now is this young kid named Orlando Leyba, and I watch him every night because he's just such a weird, unique voice. I like having an opener that I want to watch every night.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you can can see both of you coming up Saturday night here in Nashville with the
what? They can see both of us. What night was that again?
That is Saturday here in Nashville at City Winery.
No, hang on. Are there any tickets left for the early show?
No, it is sold out.
It is sold out.
They better grab those late show tickets, wouldn't you say? Like, shouldn't we advise them to buy the late show ticket?
We should. 10 o'clock show,
Wow.
9 o'clock doors. You can go to citywinery.com and get those tickets. In fact,
I am the clumsiest salesman on the planet. Oh my God, it's like a bad infomercial I just put you through.
no, it was great. I think now after this interview, both shows will be sold out.
Yes.
I feel confident in us on that.
I believe in you. I believe in the game. Please help me the game.
Patton, this was a lot of fun. We appreciate it. Have fun here in Nashville, and we will talk again soon.
I always do. Guys, hey, man, seriously, thank you for having me on the show.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Patton Oswalt. Absolutely. Patton Oswalt joining us here on the program. And if you want to go to the late show, we do have a pair of tickets to give away.
Whoa.
First caller, 615-737-1025.
Have you seen Ratatouille?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've watched it so much, I could probably be the stand-in for him.
Well,
on
I
that.
would say, like, did Hannah and JJ both watch it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so, I
just
mean,
nonstop.
It's like Shrek.
He
I'm
also
sure-
voiced the show Kim Possible, and I've watched that show more times than I would ever love to admit.
Ratatouille was well before its time, by the way. I know it was an 06 movie, but Dolby Atmos, like audio, that's pretty big for a 06 movie. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's one of my favorite movies. I'm going to be honest. Ratatouille is.
it's a good one.
Watch it Sunday night, actually.
And he was on, looking through his, everything he's been on. I forgot. I mean, I love the show News Radio with Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
That he made a guest spot on that early in his career.
He was in Veep. I mean, a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's how you just keep your career going. You get these different roles and move on. But he talked about Brad Bird there. Brad Bird being the director and the writer of Ratatouille. The guy is he's the Steven Spielberg of the animation movies of all time. And he did Up and he did The Incredibles and everything else that went on. And so it's pretty cool.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, Brad Bird joined The Simpsons, creative consultant for 8 seasons. There's another
Yeah, I
reason.
think I remember seeing his name on there. Coming up next, we'll get to celebrity birthdays here on Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Get Black Friday deals earlier than ever at Electronic Express. Get the gifts you want and save up to 40% throughout the entire store. Beat the crowds and save on hundreds of 4K TVs, appliances, computers, and more. Plus, get up to 36 months free financing on items like a Samsung 65-inch 4K TV, now only $549, or a stainless steel refrigerator, only $499. Black Friday deals are here at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Exergen thermometers are proven to be more accurate than non-contact thermometers. With children back at school, keeping them healthy is important. Clinical studies have proven that non-contact thermometers are inaccurate and can miss fevers. Accuracy matters. That's why the Exergen thermometer is trusted and used by medical professionals. Exergen thermometers are available at Walgreens and other participating retailers. Choose a trusted and accurate thermometer for personal use. Learn more about why accuracy matters at Exergen.com.
Predators fans, Brewhouse South in Cool Springs, Brewhouse Highway 100 in Bellevue, and Brewhouse West on Charlotte Avenue is your home for hockey action all season long. They are Predators approved and all the games are on, and they'll even give you the sound. Get awesome game day drink specials on Blue Note Bourbon and Black Abbey Beer. When you think hockey, think Brewhouse South in Cool Springs, Brewhouse Highway 100 in Bellevue, or Brewhouse West on Charlotte Avenue. Go Preds!
It's time to celebrate this fall and unleash the beast. Monster Brewing proudly presents to you Beast Unleashed. 0 caffeine, 0 sugar, all the adult beverage fun. The Beast is unleashed with great taste, bold familiar flavors, and 6% alcohol. Go wild with Mean Green, White Haze, Peach Perfect, and Scary Berries. Don't fear the Beast. Enjoy Beast Unleashed at your next tailgate or football party. Drink responsibly. Must be 21 and over.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Just a minute. Don't hang up.
Hey, we want to hear from all of you. Give us a call or text at 615-737-1025.
Hello. You'll have to speak up. I'm wearing a towel.
Our phone line driven by Wilson County Hyundai.
Chase and Big Joe are on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. The Chase and Big Joe show.
Now, be honest. Did you watch that show when it was out on NBC on Thursday nights?
Can I give Regal some love before you answer that?
Sorry.
Chase and Big Joe presented by Regal Realty Group. No, I didn't. I did not. I'm going to be honest. Like, most of my TV watching, like the shows that everybody loves, like if it's super, super popular, I won't pay attention to it until after it's off the air.
I'm with you, man. Because I get a lot of blowback, like, why aren't you watching Yellowstone? I'm like, because I don't want to, and you're not going to force me to watch it.
Yeah. So, no, I'm honestly right now watching The Office, like, all the way through for the first time. I've seen episodes. I've seen a lot of it.
That first season's really like,
actually, it's got a couple of the best episodes, though.
And they were going to cancel it, and then the 40-Year-Old Virgin hit, and they're like, well, we're riding a wave here. Let's see what happens, and it just took off.
Oh, and they all, like, Jim and Dwight, like, all of them just got famous.
But Todd Packer.
Oh, Todd Packer. We all have a Todd Packer.
Every company in America has a Todd Packer that does that. I did a thing with him one time. David Koechner was the actor, and we laughed about that, and he's like, I said, how does that go? I mean, what do you walk in there? He goes, yeah, there's like a bullet points for the script, and we just let it go. And I was like, man, some of those, he's like, yeah, I know. Some of those are just, I was like, exactly.
It just hit me that there's somebody we both know that's Todd Packer.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there sure is. Love it. I love it.
All right, let's get to celebrity birthdays.
Oh, man. All right, time for America's favorite game show.
Todd Packer.
Here we go. Celebrity birthdays. Got to give him the 2. By the way, Jonathan Hutton did this on Monday. Said it was the crowning moment in his broadcasting history.
Oh, he did. He stayed on? That's cool.
Yeah, did it. I think
Very
Dr.
nice.
Crane might have beat him. I don't know. Dr. Crane, did you win?
I did. I chose your birthday correctly.
That's right.
I think we should pick one day a week, and we should have a celebrity on celebrity birthdays.
Okay, way to do the air quote for celebrities. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, first birthday today, John Lithgow, one of the best, might be the greatest actor of our generation. If you didn't see his role in Dexter, fantastic. He was in The World According to Garp. All these great movies. John Lithgow.
Was he on Third Rock from the Sun too?
He was.
Yeah. 72.
67?
78.
Dang, he's older than I thought.
Actor, director Jon Favreau, who did all those Iron Man movies that I didn't see and was also in Rudy and Swingers.
He was on an episode of Friends, too.
He was.
I like Jon Favreau. 59.
That's what I was going to go. I'm going to go 63.
57.
Boom.
Chasers up 1-0. Big Jon Favreau fan over there. I like it. Oh, we've had him on the show before. Actor Chris Kattan from SNL.
Oh, yeah. We have had Chris Kattan on.
By the Night at Roxbury is one of those movies that's awful, but you can't stop watching it. Him and Will Ferrell are fantastic in that movie.
54.
Oh, this is tough. I'm going to go 57.
53.
Oh, man.
Chase up 2-0 here in celebrity birthdays today. Let's see who else going down here. Don't know her. Okay, we're getting to the other ones. Oh, lives here in town. Singer Jeannie C. Riley. Boy, she used to live here in town.
58.
54.
78.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Oh, you should, Chase, you got to get this one. Talk show host Charlie Chase. Today's Charlie Bernard's birthday, and I got a Charlie Chase story for you. I'll tell you one day, which you will love. How old's Charlie Chase?
I'm going to say he's about 75.
Charlie Chase. He says 75.
You
I'm
don't
going to go a
even know
little
who that
lower. I'm going to go 71.
71 exactly.
Oh, nice.
Dr. Crane. Well done there. He was on Extreme Makeover. Ty Pennington.
That's the Move That Bus guy.
I think he got a DUI here in Nashville. That's how I remember. That's what's bad.
55.
Move That Bus guy. We're going to go 57.
59.
Okay.
We're tied at 2. Let's see here. South Park co-creator Trey Parker.
52.
49.
54.
Ooh.
3-2. All right, last one here. You got to get it to see what happens if you're going to win or not. Evander Holyfield.
Oh.
Boxer Evander Holyfield with one ear.
I was about to make an ear joke. You beat me to it.
What'd you say?
I was about to make an ear joke.
What'd you
beat
say?
Me to it. Yeah. Evander Holyfield, 62.
I'm going to go 64.
61. Chaser gets it, and that's the victory today. 4-1. Oh, your NASCAR buddy, Brad Daugherty's birthday. This doesn't count, but Chase already won.
Well, obviously, Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yep.
Great. 61.
60.
He's 58, so we'll
Okay.
give you one. 4-3. Anyway, it's over. Chase wins 4-3.
Thank you.
Well done, Chase.
So Bradford texts in, what about Coach? God, I hated that show. And then he says, I was a kid. Go to your mom's. Wait, wrong person. Bradford, thanks for texting. That happens to the best of us.
It does.
That is going to do it for us. Loaded show today. Appreciate everybody for joining. You got Pat and Oswald. That was awesome.
Well
having him
done.
on.
Well done. As we leave you every show, to our guys out there, we love you. Stay strong. If you're struggling to talk to somebody, reach out to us. We're here for you. Let you guys know our world is a better place that you're here. So let us know how you're doing, how you're feeling. We love you guys.
Yes, indeed. Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace coming up next here on 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.